I think is our third crystal talk show. Anyone who's picking up and who is present, please give us a little comment in the chat box so that we can know that you can hear me and see me and that we are live. What I do right before the show starts is I go on all my pages and I go on all my groups and even on my profile, and I post this link that ends up going live exactly at 8:30 on the day. So here you are. Hello, folks. Thank you so much for saying hello and being a part of this unique and awesome event. I super look forward to the talk shows because it's a time to really have some fun. And while I love the meditations that we do too, and we are doing a meditation next Tuesday. Hello, Maria, Carrie Ann, Sarah, Linda. Wow, this is cool. Nellie, Sue, this is very nice to have all of you on board. What I was saying was that I love doing the meditations also, and I am doing one next Tuesday. We're on a bit of a Tuesday rhythm now, where it's talk show one week and then meditation the next week. And the meditation gives us an opportunity to go really deep into a particular theme in what I call a harmonic meditation. We use multiple stones to make that happen. Hi, Allie. And what I'm looking to do, because every time that you join me for the RSVP on the talk show or for the meditation, you have to register. And that means going to the website and clicking and saying one and maybe paying if it's a paid event or not. And what I am moving towards, and I hope you will move towards with me, is the idea of a kind of a membership where you pay maybe as little as $10 a month in order to be on the fast track, to be informed about every single event that's happening, and also some of the behind the scenes events that are happening. For example, I have the Crystals 360 group, which is a long-term year learning program that involves its own meditation and its own curriculum classes. And those are things that you're going to be able to access online because I'm putting more and more videos up on sale on my Crystal Concentrics website. I don't have to tell you how to spell it. Fortunately, it's right there written in the little bar here at the bottom. And if you ever needed to reach me, if you can't message me through Facebook, you can just email Kyle, K-Y-L-E, at crystalconcentrics.com. Now, the agenda for today, I have some show and tell. Last time I promised you that I would show you some subconscious stones, and we're going to be meditating with those just a little bit later. So we'll hold off on that. Those are, well, I'll play with you and have you identify them for those who don't remember from last time. What I wanted to do was share a kind of a big show and tell that is based on a YouTube video that I released exclusively and early to my Crystals 360 group. And it is all about foundation stones, because that program is starting this month. And the way that I start an exploration of the energy zones is to begin with foundation, which is below the root. So if you're familiar with the 7 chakra system, you know that number 1 is the root chakra. Some people also separate it out into sacral chakra as well. I kind of view sacral and root as the same, and beneath them, sort of beneath your torso and beneath your feet, is the foundation energy zone. And this video that I made is all about my breakthrough discovery that it is not only crystals that matter. It is also the bedrock, the stones that we refer to simply as rocks, that have meaning and value too. Now, it's a little bit stupid of me to have not realized that sooner, But my sort of prejudice was that in order for it to be cool, in order for it to be energetically meaningful, it would have had to turn into a specific type of crystal. And that took it to the next level of organization and capacity to focus energies. Hey there. Yeah. I'm glad. I love the comments that are coming in. I don't want to distract from my train of thought. I'm trying a vice grip focus to really deliver all the content that I want to share with you tonight. So this video talks about foundation and bedrock, and there are some crystals that I have loved for a long time, and I started to realize that they have some interrelations and some underpinnings that are very interesting and powerful. So I'm going to pick up the first stone to show you here, and I'm going to ask you, who can tell me, hello Alyssa, who can tell me what this stone is? I want to see an explanation, the name of it, come through in the chat so that I can confirm whether in fact that's the case. This is now I know there may be a delay in the way that the video is reaching you, so you may not be seeing what I'm showing you until a little bit after. So my reason for putting this stone up here is I'm wanting you to guess what it is. Merlinite. Thank you, Indigo Gabbro. The funny thing is that you are both right. Merlinite is Indigo Gabbro, and Gabbro is an igneous, very ancient type of rock that has sort of basically bedrock of the planet. Gabbro is like that. But what's so interesting, my big breakthrough for the sake of this radio talk show, is that I'm realizing a commonality between this material, and I'm going to show you a great big rough piece of it. And now look at this other material. Who can tell me what this other material is? You'll notice there's a little bit of shine, a little bit of flash. Anybody hazard a guess on this second stone? If this is Merlinite or Indigo Gabbro, what would this other funny looking thing be? Any guesses? Oh my goodness, we have another guess. That is correct. Nellie has let us know that this is in fact Larvikite. Now, the name Larvikite is a super turnoff because it sounds like larva, and that is not interesting at all. It's not Numite. It is in fact Larvikite, and the reason it's called Larvikite is because it was originally found in Finland in a place called Larvik. So because it's from Larvik, they called it Larvikite. But it has some other very, very cool names, which I would love to use. And I don't even know that they're New Age names. I think one of them was called Bird's Eye Granite, and the other was called Blue Pearl Granite. And so basically, you will notice that there are some countertops that are built out of this stuff. It's gorgeous, it's flashy, it's awesome. But it is a dead ringer for Merlinite. What is the difference? This has bigger, the Larvikite has bigger pieces of feldspar in it that flash. And then the Merlinite is less flashy, but it has purple. And the energetic meanings behind these are maybe more than I want to get into for tonight, as interesting as it would be. I might touch on it. We'll see if we have more time. But what I wanted to get into was these other two pieces of material, this one here and this one here. And I think you all are going to have a lot harder time figuring out what these are. So any guess for people as to what this first stone is and what this second stone is? And this one has been scored. It's a cylinder, and it's been scored on the sides. So it has some great texture to it. And I think it enables you to experience the stone even more actively than this wonderful naturally worn stone is. So this here is probably a beach find. It is a granite. Okay, so we've got just a plain granite here, but it is made up of different things in it. It's got a lot of white, it's got some black, and it's used as a construction material because it is very hard and it is very strong. And over here, we have what is called Amphibolite. And I had never heard of Amphibolite till my friend who sold me some Shungite turned me on to this stuff, Amphibolite. In fact, I have a beautiful pyramid of it here. If I hold it up to the TV screen, to the camera, you will see that it has a little bit of red, little red splotches, black and white. Now, all of these are related energetically. They all have a similar texture. They all are a little bit composite. Some of them are shinier than others. Some of them are less shiny. And what I have found and what I'm really excited about with this stuff here is that it feels like when I hold it, the energy is reflected back to me. It's a little bit different than petrified wood, which I've shared with you before. Petrified wood was previously a tree, but it also resembles bone and petrified bone. And so as such, it carries a little bit of a life vibrancy to it, whereas these stones are not fossils. They never were alive, but they have their own internal sort of energy generation quality to them. And so by squeezing them, you're able to get back energy from them that is strengthening. So I've talked about Herkimer diamond representing health and strength. And the strength of the Herkimer diamond comes from its insular fortress quality. Whereas the strength of these stones, which are a lot like granite, are derived from their sheer strength. The fact that they are used in construction, they hold up buildings, entire buildings are even made of them. That this stuff, which might not be so very interesting, is now suddenly very interesting because it has that energetic quality. And we could almost meditate with it, but I promised you I'd be meditating with something else tonight. In all fairness, I want to show you back the Merlinite and just tell you that the combination of colors, purple, white, and black, take it to a kind of spiritual level where black and white are balanced, and purple, which represents spiritual mission, is sort of mediating that interrelationship between black and white. And that's what makes Merlinite a great stone to have been named through the New Age after a magician. It is sort of magical in that way. The Larvikite, on the other hand, is reflective, and as such I consider it more of a protection stone. And when I have done protection stone videos like I did on YouTube, and that has become really, really popular, what I left out were two really key stones. One was Shungite and the other is now Larvikite, because Larvikite, its reflective qualities helps to reflect certain energies back and away from you. So even though these stones may look similar, energetically they are different in terms of what they do. So that being said, I want to get into what I call an invocation, because the talk show there's a lot of talk and there's going to be some questions. Actually, if you have any questions before I get into it, I'd love to see the questions first before I bring us into a little meditation. These invocations or meditations are micro tastes of my full, in-depth, deeper meditation, which I said already is something that I am offering next Tuesday. So I'm getting a couple of comments, not sure how to respond, but that's all good. So let's go into meditation. I'm going to show you these two stones, and we'll see who remembers what they are from last time, or even from this time. So this one is kind of a dark blue, and this one is also a dark blue, but they're different types of blue. One is a very, very deep indigo, and the other is lighter. So what we have are a Shattuckite here and a blue Apatite here. So I'm going to hold them in my hands. I'm going to try to hold them up so that you can see them. This one, I think, reflects light a little bit more. This one a little bit less. Maybe I can hold it up like that. There we go. Nice. All right. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes because we're going to do a little bit of a meditation right now. Take a pause. Take a breath. Come out of the chatty experience and go to a more internal experience. Usually I begin all meditations with no stones to get us in touch with our physical person, our biology. And maybe if you are not holding a stone, you can go ahead and do that. Just be really present for yourself. Allow your consciousness to spread and pass through every part of you, inviting each and every cell and molecule to the table to be a part of this experience. And now, in accelerated fashion, we introduce the stones. The blue apatite and the Shattuckite are vision stones having to do with the human subconscious. And what we want to do is simply focus on that concept of our subconscious. What is it? Where is it? What happens in the subconscious? It is the place of dreams. It is the place of motivations. It can be a place of fear. It can be a place of deep knowing. And from that place issues forth our visions, our illusions. And with these particular stones that resonate so perfectly with that part of our being, I want you to step in as if over a threshold into the depths of your subconscious, even for a minute or two, to familiarize yourself, to look around. Is this a place you are used to visiting? Is it a place that's foreign to you or comfortable? Is it a place that brings up feelings? All of these are natural observations. If you are honest and true to yourself, you will accept and embrace whatever you find there, because that is your own personal subconscious experience. And so without turning this into a full-blown meditation, I want to start to bring us out of this invocation. And an invocation is often like a dedication or an invoking of. And for these talk shows, even though they are fun and we cover lots of great topics, I want to make sure that you understand that there's a deep spiritual underpinning to this work. So take another few deep breaths. I'm now putting the stones deep into my palms, getting ready to put them down, and then open my eyes and come on back to where we are. Whew. Thanks for coming with me on that little journey. I think a way I'm going to come back and come out of that quickly is to share with you a dream that I had last night. It was a dream. It wasn't quite a nightmare, but it was a dream that I really wanted to wake up from and move on and away from. Specifically, I was going to the Tucson Gem Show, and my wife and daughter had gone first because I wasn't able to get there for another day, and they had started doing setup. And when I got there, the organizers had separated my booth into two different areas, and there was someone else right in between, and I couldn't talk them into sharing their space. So I thought, oh, I'm going to take the first half of the booth and join it to the second half of the booth, but it's going to be all outside and not under a tent, which means we're going to get lots of sun and rain if it rains. And it was super, super uncomfortable, and I felt really kind of behind the eight ball, and I hadn't experienced dreams like that since I had bad dreams connected to my music career, in which I would show up at a stage and be responsible for backing an artist whose songs I didn't know. So that type of concept of unpreparedness, of wishing that you had more control over a situation, is a common theme that does come up in dreams. And I don't know if you're the same way. You might have a whole different set of dream types that come up for you. If anyone wants to, feel free to put in some comments about the types of crazy dreams that you have. Just having a little water there. So we've done our first show and tell, and our first show and tell was designed to introduce you to some of these bedrock stones, some of which have to do with sheer strength, specifically the, what's it called? Not the Larvikite. This is the Amphibolite, and this is the straight granite. And I have this in a set with a large shungite, and I used it in one of my in-person meditations, and it blew everybody's mind. I've since sold 2 more of those cylinder sets, and I've ordered some more nephrite jade cylinders to have some more complete sets. And then I showed you the Larvikite and the Merlinite, and talked about how this one, the Larvikite, is a little bit more of a protection stone, and this is more of a spiritual, magical balance stone. Now, moving right along, I wanted to share with you something else which is kind of cool. Today, I was mailing out a custom order for a pendant. I don't know if all of you realize, but most of the pendants in my store, the Portal Crystal Gallery, are wire wrapped by an expert that I have picked pretty exclusively to do all of our wire work. And what I'm going to show you is a couple of interesting things. When I make these, when I send off packages to my wire wrapper, I refer to existing pieces. So look at this. Look at the quality of that wire wrapping. This is a beautiful smoky quartz with the pricing label showing right through it. This one is gold or gold filled, and this is pink gold filled. And this is a very interesting stone. This is called Nazca quartz. It's a kind of an celestial quartz that's very milky white and has very cool breaking up in its formation. And I chose to wrap it in a pink gold setting, which is kind of cool. And when I'm deciding how to wrap my pendants that I'm mailing to my guy, I hold the stones up to my existing gold or rose gold, or in this case, silver. So here's a silver, very beautiful glittery one. You see it looks like it has paprika sprinkled all around its center part. This is a circular chalcedony nest type of formation, very sort of abstract, very curvy and biological. And I've switched over from using sterling, which tends to tarnish, to argentium. Argentium is a version of silver that actually has a higher silver content than sterling, and it does not tarnish. So that's a beautiful thing. So what I do is I'll send a pair like these two here. These are, I want them to be gold and I want them to be earrings. They're matched because they're little tiny geodes. The smallest geodes in the world, I believe they're from Chihuahua in Mexico. And these are going to look gorgeous with a gold wrap. Now over here, we have another piece I want to do in gold. This is a kind of a blue Burmese jade disc. And then this one I want done in silver. This is a lighter, greener one. So it says silver on it. So I have actually a stack of pieces that I didn't even mail out today. I sent off a dozen pieces. He still has some backlog of ones I had sent him before. And I'm in no rush to spend a lot of money because I just found out today that my store is going to be closed for another 3 weeks. So if you are interested in getting crystals from me, please message me or email me, Kyle, at the website, crystalconcentrics.com. I would love to hook you up with some what I call quality custom crystal mail order. And the last piece I want to show you is another one that you're going to try to identify. So I'm holding this up and you're trying to identify it. And you'll notice I have a sticker on it. It says up and front. So the arrow tells my guy that I want the orientation to be like this. I don't want him to make the pendant like that or backwards or anything like this. I'm going to hold this right up there. I'm shaking this. And I think Ali is guessing jade on this, but you'll see the glitter on it makes it definitely not jade. Jade never glitters. Anybody else want to hazard a guess? It's very, very cool. And I actually did not mail it out today. It's going out in the next batch. Come on, I need one more guess before I put you out of your misery and tell you what this stone is. Actually, I'm going to hold it like that. So any last guess? Whoa, Nelly wins again. This is, in fact, a fuchsite. So fuchsite is rarely so glittery and flashy and gorgeous, and I'm really thrilled with this one. This one comes from Russia, and I'm going to have it wrapped in silver, and it's going to be gorgeous. It's not a malachite, and it's not crystallite either, although that's kind of a cool thing. Talc is another good guess, but in fact it is fuchsite, and that's going to be a lot of fun to turn into a very cool pendant down the way. So that's it for what I wanted to say about the jewelry. I have a couple of other things I wanted to mention. Oh yeah. This month I had 2 dates in which I offered Crystal Consultations. And next month, in May, I'm making it even simpler. I'm doing it all on one date, which is May 14th, a Thursday. But I'm giving you the option to pick another day if you want to have a crystal consultation with me. It's a one-on-one meeting where we can either do stone identification or what I call energetic appraisals of your stones. A little bit easier in person than from a distance and virtually, but since we're going to be working virtually for the next month anyway, and in some ways it's going to go on because I really love this format, and I think we're going to keep doing the Crystal Talk Show even after we open our store up. But what's so exciting about the Crystal Consultations is I've dropped the price. I've cut it in half. It is, as a promotional effort, just $20 for 20 minutes. And I'm booking half-hour segments, so if we go over, if I can go over, or if I need the extra 10 minutes to write notes, I can sort of complete one meeting before I move on to the next and be really ready and present for each person that I'm booking time with. And to try to sort of supplement and explain to people what it is that is possible in these consultations. Additionally, is that I can custom make a meditation and pick out certain stones just for you based on your situation currently. And I am putting out both a podcast and a blog this week that are all about crystal healing meditations. It's based on an actual crystal healing meditation that I did a few months ago, I think probably in December or January. And it explains to you how I start with the physical meditation, just like when I do the online meditations. And then we prepare people to share what's sort of missing and what they want to be working on in their life. And then I go and pick stones that are specifically appropriate for them. And so the podcast and the blog are both going to lay that out for you. So look for my next newsletter in which I sort of debut those two things, and feel free to click through. If you're a listener, listen to the podcast. If you're a reader, read the blog. The only advantage to the blog, like last month, I did a blog on Tucson, and what I was able to do was stuff in hundreds of photographs. So you really got a sense both of what it was like for me, and I also put in some vintage photographs that take you back, 50, 60 years into what it was like at the Tucson Gem Show way back when. So let me do another show and tell. Does anybody have a question? If you do have a question, feel free to chime in. I'm thinking that the chat might be a little behind time, so I'm going to chat something. I'm going to say Kyle here and see if that shows up immediately or not. There it is. That was pretty quick. So maybe it is more real time for me than it is for you. I don't know. But the show and tell for you, I have some incredible things to show you. So who knows what these are? Time for you to guess again. 1. You'll notice it's 6-sided. And you'll also notice it's quite an interesting dark purple reddish color. The video is behind the chat. Some weird things. So we've got a guess for Sugilite. We've got a guess for Charoite. Neither one of those is accurate yet. Let's see. What do you think it is? Still taking guess. Now someone else guessed Sugilite. And I actually have a Sugilite I want to show you. And I also, before I forget, I want to tell you about my pendant. So that's another cool thing. We've got a second guess for Charoite. Purple. Yep, you're seeing the purple. Do we have anybody else willing to hazard a guess? Ooh, aragonite. That's a kind of a cool guess because aragonite does sometimes form into these funny shaped crystals. I've got lepidolite, but I must admit that Nelly takes the cake again. It really helps to work at a crystal store where you're around stones all the time. You already have some pre-existing knowledge, and you work with me, and we're able to identify things left and right. This is a ruby. Okay, this is a ruby crystal. Gorgeous. I bought it as a pair. These two together were so wonderful and awesome, and I decided to keep them for myself, although that's often not true. When I say I'm keeping something for myself, what I'm saying is I'm not putting it out for sale, and I'm mostly making it available in my session room for meditations and individual healing work. So that's what I had planned for these. However, I am thinking I'm going to put these out for sale and make them available to other people. Why is that? Because I happen to have here some natural ruby crystals that I think I'm going to end up using as my primary ruby crystals. This has been polished off at the top. In this case, the root is smaller and then it expands and then comes to a point, and they've polished the point so that you can see a little bit of starring. It's not really ideal in this light, but that is a great big ruby crystal. And this is another great big ruby crystal. I really like the shape of this one. It also has that polish and is designed to have a little bit of a sheen on it. So these are the ones that I might end up keeping for myself, even though they are a lower quality. So just to show you the difference, look at that color difference. The one on top looks almost brown, and the one that is redder, more purple, is much, much higher quality. But sometimes quality is not what the doctor ordered. Sometimes you can have a more rustic piece that hits the spot. Hello, Joan. Nice to see ya. Now, Nelly mentions the trigonic etching on a ruby, which is actually barely visible on these. You see trigonic etchings more on sections of ruby that are sort of medallion-shaped, flat, either cut pieces or naturally broken off crystals. What I wanted to show you here, since some of you were talking about it before, some of you thought that the ruby was this stone. What is this ball? Who can tell me what this ball is made of? And I will tell you the red stuff in it. You see the red stuff there. That is called boostamite. And the black stuff, there's actually a little bit of hematite in this one. And the black stuff is generally manganese. And I've learned some interesting things about manganese. Manganese is going to come up again in our conversations. But this stone here, any guesses based on what you were guessing before? I'm not seeing anything coming through. This is a pretty new acquisition for me because it's very, very hard to find these at all. So I'm going to lay it on you. In case you make guesses, they'll probably show up late in the chat. But this is a sugilite or a sugilite. I used to always call it sugilite. I kind of like calling it sugilite, but I've gotten used to calling it sugilite because it's named after this Japanese guy named Sugi. And some people make the mistake of calling it sugarlite because, after all, the word sugar has an SH at the beginning of it. So why shouldn't sugilite? But it is a tasty piece. Very, very wonderful. Definitely a sugilite, and definitely rare. Very rare to find such a great big piece of it, which means the quality has to be good enough all the way around. And many of them that are out there, there aren't actually many of them out there, are mostly of a lower quality. So that is a nice find. And I think I'm going to show you one last thing because it happens to be on my table here. I love doing the show and tell, and I am confident that even Nellie is not going to be able to correctly identify this. So you'll see it's crystallized at both ends. It is green, and it looks like DNA folded in on itself, like some sort of crazy green pasta combination. Anybody willing to hazard a guess on this? This is a very, very high energy stone, which is a lot like praise quartz, which is the green terminated quartz that I think I've shown you before in an earlier talk show. This stuff is super, super obscure and not common to find, and certainly not common to find in such a perfect crystal. So my hope, oh, there we go. Now kunzite would never form in this crystallization. Kunzite is usually pink. This is green. Epidote, excellent guess on epidote. Epidote is certainly this color. Epidote crystals are a little more linear, a little more blocky and clunky. These kind of curve. And once again, we're going to have to acknowledge that Nellie called it right. She called it hewlandite. Hewlandite, such a bizarre thing from India. So hewlandite is a very cool stone. And now I'm going to enter into the summary stage of the talk show. I have wanted to give you what I call the CCN, the Crystal Concentric News, and that consists of the talk show happening every other Tuesday, the online meditation happening every other Tuesday, and the online meditation is next Tuesday, and you can sign up for it right on my website or go to portalcrystalgallery.com, or you can always write me if you have any questions or you're stumped as to how it all works. Definitely want to get onto our mailing list if you aren't already. I am looking to start a membership program where for a small amount of money every month, you can get these updates directly sent to you. You don't have to sign up for every single class. That is going to be a great time saver for you and make the content that I'm offering more accessible and less of a hassle to get to. So that's number one. Number two, I also mentioned that I've cut my crystal consultation costs in half, $20 for 20 minutes. And that next one is May 14th, or at a time of your choosing. All you have to do is reach out and contact me if you're looking for the type of attention that I can't really give you at one of these talk shows. I'm wearing this necklace, and I want to make sure that I show it to you. There we go. I got it off. So this pendant that I'm wearing, darn it, we could do another show and tell, but I know Nellie's going to get this one. So I'm going to put everyone out of their misery and also show you the back where we do have some epido. So the front is Prehnite, and I call Prehnite the stone aloe vera. It looks like aloe vera, but it is green and it's translucent and it's soft, and it has the similar type of healing quality as aloe vera. So, so there's that. And so I also got into an invocation where I used the Shattuckite and the blue Apatite as gateways or keys into the subconscious. That was useful. We talked about how I have my pendants made. This is a finished product. And then we send them in like this in a plastic bag that says silver. And then there's the stone that's going to get wrapped in silver. We talked about ruby, both the higher grade quality color ruby and the darker quality, rougher, but still six-sided ruby crystals that I love to use in meditation and for grounding. And I will tell you that those of you in the Crystals 360 group are going to get to enjoy root stones in the May curriculum class and meditation. And everybody else can probably access that stuff independently after the fact, or you could just join us and become a part of the Crystals 360 group. And then lastly, at the beginning, we talked about the Amphibolite, which is like a granite. This is from Russia. I didn't mention that Amphibolite quartz is where one of these sort of foreign materials enters into quartz and causes a kind of an inclusion and a different sort of look inside of the quartz. We had a straight granite. And then we had these a little bit more mystical kind of powerful power stone pieces. The Larvikite here, only the Larvikite. There's the Larvikite is here. Oh boy. And there's the Merlinite. So Larvikite, oh boy, my whole face, everything's a little out of phase right now. But the longer one, the oblong one is Merlinite, and then the rounder one is the Larvikite, which is more of a protection stone. So we've covered a huge amount of ground. I hope you've learned a lot. I hope it's been entertaining. I hope you'll shoot me any questions either here in the chat box or afterwards. Feel free to email me. I love hearing from everybody, and I would love to have you join me for my meditation next week. We use Zoom for that, and that's a video thing, so we're going to see each other, and the fun continues. So thanks a lot for tuning in. I'm very happy to have you join me and be able to bring this type of programming to you in the Crystal Concentrics talk show. Thanks for watching, and we will connect again soon. I'm going to say bye-bye for now. And thank you again. Till soon.